Welcome to Punchline Talks, the commercial property forum, sponsored by Evans Jones. Today, I'm joined by a very special guest, Patrick Downs, MD and owner of Just In Property. Welcome, Patrick. Welcome to the show. So, what is the property market like at the moment, and what's the challenges that's coming down the tracks?
Right. Thank you, Mark. Thanks for having me on. Good to see you. I think the last two speakers over the last 2 weeks in the forum have explained very well that it's a very strong market generally, and clearly is demonstrating great resilience, which it has done in the past time and time again. And certainly in the last 12 months, most markets have been strong, even rent increases, certainly with the exception of retail. But I think from my perspective, it's got a bit of a risk now that we've just been a little bit too focused on COVID and its impact, and we've got this big sigh of relief that says, phew, we got through it, and generally property is still being well used, and there are very few voids really in many cases. And so I think there's a case where some businesses have been a bit reluctant to let go of space. We might start seeing people vacate some of the offices, some of the more industrial premises as well, actually, just to cut down on costs. But most moves are due to space size, and I think what we will see going forwards is a much greater focus on new challenges coming down the line, or have already been down the line, such as Brexit, which sort of got forgotten, didn't it, almost? And those challenges and what it brings to business and property usage are still to be perhaps impacted on us, or the impact to come. But greater than that maybe will be the net zero challenges, and some businesses are really getting geared into this now and understanding what we've got to do to sustain ourselves more. I think mental health is an issue, I think at all ages as well, in the workplace, probably at home as well, but certainly youngsters do need these workplaces. We do need to understand how we can improve those workplaces for them and make sure they can go in and communicate better. But the big one, I think, probably last but not least, are these energy bills. And we're geared into the domestic side probably through press, but this is going to have a huge impact on business as well. And so those challenges added to which, I'm only going to say this word once, I hope. I think there's a recession around the corner potentially. So, put all those together and then get hit by a recession. We've got to be very careful about landlords or tenants, really, about what space we've got and how we use it. I
was talking to Simon Ford the other day in the business breakfast briefing, saying that inflation's actually running at 27%. Because everything is going up. On the property side of things, is this what you're seeing? Is there, on the commercial and the warehousing side, there seems to be not enough space, and yet on the office side in a city, there seems to be the space?
Yes, I think so. I mean, certainly in the big cities anyway. And of course, in this county, we haven't got the size of space, office space and industrial that some cities have got. But I'm not saying we're immune to it. Where I'm going though with this is that we are, I think, likely to be remodeling a lot more. Construction and operation of businesses, of buildings, I should say, that generates 38% of global greenhouse gas. So what we already have, we're very greedy with carbon. And we've got to start perhaps staying where we are and making better use of existing premises, all commercial uses, not just industrial or warehousing or everything, offices as well. And I think property will become much more vulnerable to the challenge of this, and how premises, whether we're moving or staying put, have just simply got to be better. Brand new is too easy, really. So we'll look, I think, a lot more at retrofits, reuse of buildings, repurposing buildings, getting much better value out of what we've got. And then if we are forced to move for whatever reason, maybe one of those, then we're going to be a lot more searching of what is being provided. And I think we'll see rents alter a lot depending on what's available. So, if it isn't ticking boxes, if it's not as sustainable as the next place, the rents are going to be that much lower, I think. Or the opposite side of that is put together a really good retrofit as a landlord, and we will see some really much improved rents even, because it's better to pay a good rent on an excellent building than necessarily something which is not sustainable. So I do think the net zero and the energy bills, are key to some of this, as well as the mental health and Brexit issues. But I think they work hand in hand, because of course, if you get your net zero right, you get your energy bills right, then obviously you will start to see your costs come back and fall. And that's whether or not we've got enough time for the recession, but I think it would help us going into that recession. And I promised I wouldn't say that word again, didn't I? So I won't. But I do feel very clearly that property will be much more akin to every other issue within the business strategy, within the business plan. And I spend a lot of my time working with clients to make sure property is firmly in that business plan, because it's hand in hand with these sorts of issues.
Okay, thanks ever so much for that, Patrick. Give us an overview. Now, the property that you've actually picked today is in Twigworth, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yep. Some really nice units at Twigworth. There's two that have come on the market just recently, and they're with THP, who I work closely with on that particular site. Interesting with a site like Twigworth, it is very popular because it's out of town, and that comes back to your question mark about cities. There's challenges there, as there are with all properties, in terms of sustainability and improving the carbon footprints, and perhaps renewable energy and issues like that will come to the fore. But certainly as a site, it's very popular. There's 2 units there which will probably let very quickly, and we've certainly seen in the last 6 months actually some of the rents increase on this site as well. So there's a good example really of how our mood has changed because of COVID, but it will need to keep up, as do all the sites. They do need to keep up with the change in marketplace.
And of course, opposite, you've got the new co-op going in place, and the Jane's Pantry. Unfortunately, that's all we've got time for today. Patrick, I'd like to thank you ever so much for joining us for Punchline Talks, the Commercial Property Forum, sponsored by our dear friends at Evans Jones. Hopefully you'll join us again soon. If you do like the show, please like, share and subscribe. We'll see you again next time. Thank you very much. Bye.
Thanks, Mark. Thank you. Bye.